y'all, what's up? I'm wearing the same thing because I'm double filming, so yeah. Um, and I honestly don't even know what I want to talk about in this video, but I have a few things kind of that I put down in my notes that I want to discuss and things that I feel like are changing in my life. And I think a really relevant one to me right now would be, like, I feel like I'm having a lot of flashbacks from my childhood, and I kind of feel myself wanting to watch the old shows that I used to watch as a kid, and like all the nostalgic items and trends and just anything that brings that feeling to me of being a child. I want to go back to. And I don't know if you notice that when you're kind of, I don't want to say in a bad place. I think it does happen when you're in a bad place because it's a good comfort. Like for me today, I've been listening to Hannah Montana all day, and she was my favorite, and that was my favorite show growing up. And like I really want to watch Hannah Montana right now, but I don't have Disney Plus, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But I just feel like a bit of nostalgia and a bit of like slight sadness just about, maybe some doors that are closing. And for me, it's hard for me to talk about because I tend to end things very abruptly, and I usually don't have a problem cutting people off. And I'm trying to work on that because I think it's important to sometimes have fights, and not always even fights. It's important to have discussions and work things out with people. And I think sometimes that makes you stronger, but I've always been the person who's like, oh, you're causing a problem in my life, I'm cutting you off and I'm never speaking to you again. Oh, you did this to me, I'm over you, like forever, permanently. And I've cut people off left and right, and it kind of feels like I have no one left at this point. And it's like, I know that people aren't perfect. I think sometimes you do need to cut people off like that, but it's been hard for me to decipher what those things are that you should cut people off for and what things you should try to work through. So, I mean, that's been on my mind a lot lately, but a big thing for me lately has been I've been thinking about just childhood friendships. And I've been seeing I'm on TikTok all the time, probably to a fault, and I've been seeing a lot of videos about childhood friends and the fact that sometimes you feel pressured to stay in those friendships or to cultivate the friendship in the same way that it's always been, when maybe it no longer serves you, or it isn't the healthiest, or maybe you just need to take a second, like refresh and come back to the friendship, or maybe you just need to not try to be as close with that person as you once were. And I don't know which one I'm doing right now. I think I'm trying to not cut them off, like the childhood friendships off. I think I really do want to work through them, but it's just something that's really hard because I am a people pleaser, and that is so cringy to me to say am, currently, presently, because I'm also working on that and just trying to do what's best for me. And so it's something that I'm constantly trying to break. I'm trying to break that habit always. So I have to think through these things a lot. And I'm an overthinker. So here's all my problems. Thank you for listening. That's my TED Talk. Just kidding. But No, I that's just things that I struggle with, and maybe you struggle with it too. And I'd love to hear how you want to handle these things, or if you're, or how you like to handle these things, or maybe how you would like to if you don't currently handle them that way. But I just don't know what to do because these people, it was like ride or die forever, and we've always just clicked and we always were so close, and now not so much, and I feel almost like I'm in a cage when I'm around them. I feel like they're pulling me down and dulling my shine, and I feel like I have to make myself small around them, and that's not healthy. That's not a friendship that I want to be in, and it's weird because it's never been like that with them before, like ever. And this, like, this goes back to literally like being a small child and growing up with these people, but I just feel like they don't get me anymore. I feel like they don't add value to my life. I feel like I don't know what to do anymore, and it's sad. I feel pressure to stay friends with certain people, and this doesn't just go for childhood friends. There's been multiple times in my life where I felt pressured to be friends with someone for lots of different reasons. Some of them shallow, some of them not shallow at all. I think I've changed a lot throughout my life. I've always been I don't know if this makes sense, but I've always been an evolving person. And I know it kind of sounds like, oh, everyone's always evolving. And that's something, like, on my Instagram bio says, like, forever evolving or something like that, because that's something that took me a while to realize, that, like, everyone's always evolving. And if you're not currently, I feel like at some point you will. We don't stay the same person, and the same things don't please us, like, throughout our lives, and the same things don't upset us throughout our entire lives. But I've always been someone who was, like, changing friend groups because I realized that they weren't making me happy, or changing the people that I hang out with, or changing the activities that I did. And I feel like that's, I hate to bring, like, zodiac signs into it, because, I'm not even, like, if you tell me, like, oh, my birthday's this day, what am I? I don't know. I don't know, like, that much about zodiac signs, and I'm not, like, super obsessed with it, but I find it interesting. So I, like, am always learning about it. But I do have, I think I have quite a bit of Aquarius in my chart. Not in my top 3 or anything, but, like, in my chart, I have quite a bit of Aquarius, I think. And to me, that's why I've always been that way, like, quitting sports and starting new ones, because I want to do everything. Like, I get bored easily, and I want to, like, do everything and experience everything. But, like, if something isn't fulfilling to me, I'm like, I'm out. But that could also be the Capricorn in me. That's my sun sign. I don't know. I'm not even trying to get, like, that deep into zodiac stuff, but that's just my personality. And, like, I've contemplated this a lot, because I'm like, is it just me? Do I just get bored easily of everyone? But in this case, in, like, the childhood friendships thing and the friendships thing, like, I'm such a loyal friend, and I will stay loyal to you if you are loyal to me, and if you, like, make me really happy. And so that's kind of how these friendships have always been until now. And I'm 23. It's, for these friendships, like, a lot of them, it's been, like, my whole life, or most of my life, and never once have I questioned these friendships. And for the first time, it's like that those friendships were always, like, at the end of the day, I knew that they would always be there, and I always felt support from them, and like that was just going to be the rest of our lives together, just our friendship and our relationships. And now I'm just second guessing everything. And anyway, back to the TikToks, it's like they're saying don't feel pressure to keep childhood friendships just for the sake of the amount of time you've been friends. And I guess you could say that loyalty. Because to me, I feel like I've been very accepting of these people, and I'm not receiving that acceptance back. And I feel like these people don't care about me as much as I care about them. And I feel like we just don't have that like same friendship spark that we used to have, and I just feel very judged, and I feel like they don't respect me anymore. And they probably have disrespected me multiple times in the past too, and I know for a fact some of them have, but that was like the loyalty in me. I was like, this is probably just a phase. We'll work through it, whatever. But I've never, I don't have fights with my friends. And that's kind of what I was saying in the beginning of the video, like how sometimes I think you need to fight it out, and you need to have these discussions or arguments or whatever the case may be individually for every person. But I've never had those. It's like if there was ever something that hurt my feelings, I just brush it under the rug and try to just work it out myself. If I ever felt disrespected, I wouldn't say anything. And so it's like, that's probably my bad. But I don't like confrontation, and more so like when I was younger. And that's why I think in a lot of these friendships, and all of my friendships, if something hurt my feelings or rubbed me the wrong way, I would never say anything about it. I just figure out how to get over it by myself inside so that I can move on and still continue to be friends with this person. But I think over time that stuff is built up, and there's probably some grudges there that are just really deep down that I've probably convinced myself to forget at some point. But I think there's a lot of pent up anger and hurt there, and so it's hard for me to want to continue. And getting the validation from those videos that it's okay to end childhood friendships, it's just made me think. And for me, I'm trying to work on the whole cutting people off. Cutting season was every season for me. But I don't know, I'm trying to be better, so that's why I'm kind of hesitant to cut anyone off. But I just know that these people don't make me happy anymore. And it was a hard conclusion to come to. There's been a lot of crying, there's been a lot of flashbacks and memories. But I just know that it's not a good situation anymore. And so for me, the route that I think I'm going to go down is still hold on to the friendships, but just distance myself, make myself less available, because I feel like I'm always available, but no one's ever available for me. And so I just think that I'm going to distance myself. And, we can hang out once every couple of months or a couple times a year. But it's just hard when family, friends are involved, because when your families or friends, or I don't know, there's different connections, friends of friends and that kind of stuff, it just gets a little messy and a little hard to distance yourself, just because sometimes you're forced to be around them. I mean, I'm even, like, if I'm being completely honest and vulnerable, which I hate being vulnerable, like, I'd rather, like, do anything than be vulnerable. Um, I I just feel like it's important to connect with people, and I think me starting to be vulnerable and open up is going to help me make connections with people that, you know, are on the same vibration as me or feel the same way as me. I don't like being vulnerable. It's like, I don't like it. Anyway, I'm going to try to get through this, but I'm working on it. I just think that to open new doors and to get where I want to get and to meet new people, this is what I have to do. And so this is me making that effort. But it is a little scary to talk about this on camera. And I mean, all the things that come with that. But I'm trying to be honest, because when I'm not honest, like, I don't like having secrets either. I would rather have everything out on the table, but I'm also very logical when it comes to what needs to be out on the table and what doesn't. And that's also like such blurry lines, I feel like, in all types of situations. But yeah, I am just trying to be more vulnerable, and I hope that it gets me to where I want to be, and I hope that it's worth it in the end. But yeah, let me know what you want to talk about. You know, this session was kind of about like your childhood and nostalgia and going through rough times or childhood friends. So if you have a topic that you'd like me to discuss or that you want to discuss with me, just, you know, put it in the comments or reach out to me in some way. I would love to hear what you want to hear, and I would love to just think about it more and talk about it more as I go through this journey, because honestly that would be so helpful for me as I'm trying to do more self-discovery and really dive deep. And I feel like it could be helpful for you too if you're kind of going through the same process.